Cherigan, a name synonymous with some of the most beautiful perfumeries of the early 20th century. A few years ago, when I discovered that Parfums Cherigan was going to be revived, I couldn't have been more excited. My very first encounter with this Maison occurred in the early 2000s whilst researching articles into perfumeries that used tobacco in their fragrances. Of course, I enjoyed exploring some of the greats, Le Tabac Blanc de Caron, Abenita de Molinar, but what I hadn't expected to find was a third beautiful gem that resided in the register of the divine. That gem appeared one day as a blip on my spraydar when I found a bottle called Fleurs de Tabac by a relatively unknown brand, Cherigan. So I ordered it blindly and I had great expectations. When that bottle arrived, those expectations were met and surpassed. As I twisted the cap on that bottle, it let out a hiss, a sigh, those trap molecules escaping for the first time in almost 100 years. And the perfume, it swelled on the air like a genie that had been released from its slumber. It was incredible, and I was hooked, and I needed to know more. So for the following 12 months, I tried to research as much as I could on this relatively unknown brand. What I discovered is that Polish immigrant Otta Polacek had come to Paris and opened a boutique on the Champs-Élysées, the world's most famous and luxurious address, so she was rubbing shoulder to shoulder with other perfume greats of our time. What we also know is she opened a boutique in Havana in Cuba, and there was a lot of trade going on between France and Cuba at the time. And I've often wondered whether or not that Cuban contingent had also been opened so there was easier access to raw materials that might have gone into a fragrance such as Fleurs de Tabac. What I also discovered is the diversity and beauty of all of the Cherigan perfume presentations, many of which I have come to own and appreciate over the years. One thing ties them together, that commonality or red thread that runs through them all, is this wonderful Art Deco design. When we think of Art Deco, we think of the atrocities of World War I behind us, and we have this sense of renewed hope and optimism. We're looking to the future and we are celebrating. So we think of those wonderful jazz halls filled with flappers, or with vibrancy and music, or the flash of polished brass. I'm delighted to see this brand reprised, and I congratulate Luc Gabriel and everyone at Cherigan for their keen sensitivity to the past. I love that they have one foot planted in history and one foot planted firmly in the here and now. I'm so excited for these new collections, and I congratulate you all. I'm excited to see where this brand will go from here, and I'm confident it will go from strength to strength.